fractured light, a pulse like a dying star, a man standing in his own world until the sky splits open like a wound. He reaches out, the world dissolved, and he falls into a place that should never exist. Where the hell am I? Why does the air taste like death? I wake in a wasteland of broken breath, a kingdom of silence ruled by death. The sky is ash, the ground is bone, and every shadow whispers you're alone. No cities, no voices, no heartbeat but mine. Just the endless shuffle of the dead behind the skyline. My fists shake, my mind fractures, but I stand because I have to. I call out no answer, I serve no survivors, I scream only the dead reply. Their moans echo like a choir of the damned, a holy dirge twisted by rotten hunger. And I realize the truth, I am the only living thing in this world. I don't belong here, this nightmare isn't mine. I'm trapped in a world that died before time. If there's a way back, I'll carve it in stone. I'll tear through the darkness to find my way home. Holy light flickers in the void, a spark refusing to be destroyed. Days blur, nights bleed, I wander through ruins swallowed by wings. Cars rusted into skeletons, buildings hollowed like skulls, roads cracked open like graves. I search for signs, a door, a portal, a symbol, a clue, anything that whispers of my world. But the dead follow me, always relentless, mindless, hungry. Their footsteps become the rhythm of my exile. I find a cathedral half collapsed, stained glass shattered into bleeding colors. Inside candles still burn, but no hands lit them. A message carved into the altar, the way home is not for the weak. My breath freezes. Someone was here, someone new, but they're gone now. Or worse, I will not die in a world that isn't mine. I'll break the chains between the realms and the divine. If the dead want me, they'll choke on my fire. I'll carve my return through blood and desire. Holy dead swell like a broken pearl, clumps in like collapsing towers. The dead swarm outside the cathedral doors, and I stand ready. If hope is a weapon, then I'll wield it alone. If fate is a prison, I'll shatter the stone. This world won't claim me, I refuse to fall. I'll tear through the void, and outrun it all. I will find the path, I will find the truth, I will find my world again. Even if I have to burn this one down to do it. The dead gather, the sky trembles. Hidden in the ruins, a doorway waits. Wires cracked with static, a sky the color of dry blood. Wind dragging the sands of endings across an empty world. The dead rise in the distance, not fast, not slow, just inevitable. And the living almost gone. Where bodies used to breathe and the air tastes like rusted fear. I walk through it all, a lone spark in a world drowned in rot. A heartbeat refusing to die, even as the dead close in. Their moans rise like a broken hymn, a choir stitched from hunger and decay. Holy bells ring in the distance, not salvation, just the echo of a world that failed. And still they come, endless, relentless, starve for anything warm. Let the sky bleed red, let the heavens collapse. I'll stand in the ruin and refuse to be trapped. If the dead want my soul, they can tear through the storm. I was born in the fire, I'll die reborn. Holy light flickers in the dark, a spark refusing to be swallowed. I move through alleys where silence screams, where the ground remembers every fall. Buildings sag like dying giants, windows shattered like broken faith. The dead follow, a tide of ruin, a storm of hollow hunger, a reminder that mercy died long before the world did. But I keep walking, because stopping means becoming one of them. I find a church still standing, Synth bells cracked with static, wind scraping through abandoned towers. Katana sheathed across his back, bow in hand. He is the last heartbeat he knows of. The world is a cathedral of rot and silence. I walk through the bones of a world that forgot me. By the echoes that follow, my bowstring hums like a serpent's hymn, a holy threat in a world gone dim. Then I hear them, three voices cracking through the static of doom, three sparks trembling in the darkened womb of a city that should have swallowed them whole. They're cornered, surrounded, fading, and something in me refuses to let the night win. And something in me refuses to let the night win. I cut through the swarm like a hymn of defiance, arrows singing judgment in the twilight silence. Three souls behind me, trembling. together. And for the first time in years, the man feels the weight of hope. A brand from a god I never prayed to. A rash crawling outward like it's got something to fucking say. Every sunrise it spreads, quiet creeping mutiny. A red-veined map of a future I never asked for. I scream at the mirror, what the hell are you doing to me? But the mirror just watches like it already keeps spinning, pretending nothing's wrong, while something ancient wakes up under my skin. By the time it hits my chest, my pulse sounds like war drums. Every beat feels like a countdown, every breath like a warning. People stare at me like I'm a freak, like I'm some cursed asshole dragging doom behind me. But none of them cared when I was starving, none of them cared when I was broken, none of them cared when should I care now that something inside me is waking up? When it reaches my brain, the world goes red. Not pain, revelation. My eyes burn, my vision floods, and I feel myself split open from the inside out. Not dying, not breaking, becoming. The first scream that leaves my throat isn't human anymore, and the world hears it. I rise, not dead, not alive, something in between, something beyond. They call me monster, they call me abomination. They call me the end, but I am the beginning too. Every human I touch becomes one of the horde. Not because I want them to, because the infection wants to spread, wants to build, wants to claim. And with everyone that falls, I grow stronger, taller, heavier, more beast than man, more storm than flesh. The other zombies look at me with fear, but they bow anyway. They know power when they see it. I am the Alpha, I am the Omega, I am the fucking prophecy they never saw coming. Seas crumble under the weight of the horde, governments fall like cheap cardboard. The sky turns the color of rusted blood, the earth shakes with every step we take. Survivors scatter like insects, clinging to hope like it's not already dead. Some fight, some hide, some pray, but prayer doesn't mean shit when the world has already chosen its king. One survivor stands longer than the rest, a stubborn bastard with nothing left to lose. He faces me like he thinks courage matters, like he thinks he can stop the inevitable. He swings, I don't move. He screams, I don't flinch. future that doesn't exist anymore. But I can feel them, I can smell their fear, and the heart moves when I command. The hunt never ends, the world never heals, and I never stop growing. Because this is evolution. My pulse sounds like war drums. Every beat feels like a countdown. Every breath like a warning. And I am its goddamn ruler. In a cathedral built from skeletons, a shape awakens. Muscle without life, a skull crowned with horns. Older than war. General Taurus, the undead minotaur of collapsing dimensions. Breathing hatred through hollow ribs, dragging bloodlust behind him like a cloak. He lowers his arms, the air trembles, the ground splits. Then he charges, a blur of bone and fury. Raging blunder, a strike so fast the world can't scream. Bodies torn apart in a single heartbeat. Victims dead before they understand the impact. Fists like collapsing stars, knuckles wrapped in dimensional static. He swings and time fractures around the blows. Punch after punch after punch, 1,000 impacts in a blink. A barrage that erases shape, leaving nothing but red mist in the air. He grabs the victim, hands like skeletal vices locking tight. The world goes silent, the fear becomes absolute. Dimensional smash. He lifts them like broken offerings, then slams them into the earth until the earth refuses to hold them anymore. He does not stop. He does not think. He does not forget. General Taurus, the hatred that walks on No mercy, no memory, only the charge of annihilation. Commander Shockwave, breaker of realms unbound by death. Your lightning crowns the heavens, your wrath becomes the law of night. Commander Shockwave, when your blade descends, creation shatters. The storm obeys you alone. His sword hums with the pulse of eternity, a conduit of forgotten storms. Every strike bursts a tidal wave of light. The blue horizon exploding outward. He speaks not, for judgment needs no voice. Commander Shockwave, guardian of the rift, harbinger of the storm eternal. Your silence is the verdict. Your thunder is the end. Blue circuits burn, the dead awaken. The storm remembers its master. He walks through collapsing timelines, a skeletal titan of charged metal. Lightning coils around his frame, snakes of living voltage seeking release. His hollow gaze cuts through dimensions. Shockwave ascendant, your footsteps rupture the fabric of worlds. Shockwave ascendant, your knuckles strike and galaxies recoil. Shockwave ascendant, your sword is a storm given form. Every impact detonates a shock front, a blue corona devouring the dark. His presence erases hope, his silence devours fear. He is the guardian who forgives nothing. Time bends, matter screams. dying star. Holy choirs glitch in the sky, their voices warped by infection. Cities crumble into dust and the air trembles with the footsteps of the risen. Humanity is a rumor, extinction is a heartbeat away. And the undead, they are no longer mindless, they are learning. Sirens choke on static, streets split open like cold scars. The undead crawl from the cracks, faster, sharper eyes burning with something almost intelligent. They move in patterns, they hunt in silence, they evolve with every falling human. This is no outbreak, this is ascension. From the ruins rises a lone figure, not Alice, but a survivor forged in the same fire. A ghost of the old world, a weapon shaped by desperation, a spark refusing to die. Holy light flickers behind them, darkness coils at their feet. They are the lost echo of resistance, and the undead know their name. The world is burning, but I'm still alive, a broken creation built to survive. If the undead evolve, then I'll evolve too. I'll tear through the darkness and break what they grow. Holy bells ring through the void, a fragile reminder of what once was. The undead shift their bodies, twisting to new forms. Some fast as lightning, some towering like nightmares, some whispering in voices that should not exist. They mimic, they adapt, they strategize. Humanity's weapons fail, walls fall, sanctuaries bow. The survivor walks alone through the ruins, searching for answers, searching for meaning, searching for a way to stop evolution itself. I am the last breath of a dying race, the fury that refuses to be erased. If the dead want a future, they'll take it from me, for I am the lock, and they hold no key. Darks and howl like angels in agony, drums hit like collapsing towers. They undead swarm, but the survivor stands unbroken. The world grows quiet, too quiet. The undead gather in the millions, a living storm of evolution. The survivor stands at the center of the wasteland. Holy light flickering in their eyes, darkness swirling around their fists. They whisper a vow, if this world ends, it ends on my terms. Let the sky collapse, let the night consume. I'll carve out a future in the heart of the gloom. If extinction is calling, then I'll answer the plea, for the undead may evolve, but they won't surpass me. Holy choirs rise, dark ambient swells. The world holds its breath, the undead advance. The becomes the future. The shattered overture. Fragile glass, blood trails fall in a crimson mass. Her voice, a weapon of ancient spite, conducted with elegance, executed with blight. Glam of the abyss, she is the aria of hatred. The glamlit ghost of the dead, a banshee draped in fractured assault. She slips inside her victim's core, a phantom passing through flesh and more. A whisper echoes, you should not have breathed. Then bodies bloom like shattered wreaths. No mercy, no pause, no second thought. Her hatred is the only loss she's taught. She leaves behind a hollow mist, a requiem kissed by an iron fist. ends like this. Like a dying star, plants twitch in the shadows, roots pulsing with something not alive but not dead either. A man enters, searching for supply, searching for hope, brushes against the floor. A tiny cut, barely a sting, but the world ends with a it burns, not like fire, like something waking inside its blood. The vision fractures, colors twisting into impossible shapes. The air hums with a voice that does not belong to anything human. He clutches his eye, but the cut is already changing. Veins darkening like storm clouds. He whispers, "What did that plant do to me?" His heartbeat stutters, his breath turns cold. The world around him flows as something ancient crawls through his nose. The blast was not natural, it was engineered, a weapon disguised as life. And he is the first to fall. His skin He was nobody, a valet in a neon-lit city, a smoker with a cough like gravel, a man fading into the background of his own life. Rain hits the pavement like dying prayers. Holy choirs glitch in the sky. Something unnatural hums beneath the streetlights. He pulls disposable vape from his pocket, cheap, metallic, glowing faint blue. He takes one inhale, and the world ends with it. The vapor hits his lungs like a sparking gasoline, burning cold, burning wrong. His vision fractures, colors twisting into impossible shapes. His pulse stutters, veins darkening like storm clouds. He drops the keys he was holding, they clatter like a funeral bell. He whispers, what was in that hit? But the answer is already rewriting him. It wasn't nicotine, it wasn't flavor, it wasn't anything human head should have made. It was a bioengineered spore, a weapon disguised as a disposable habit, a seed waiting for a host. And he was the first to inhale it. His skin pales, his pupils fracture, his thoughts dissolve into hunger. The apocalypse begins with a single breath. I can feel myself rotting awake. Every inhale a world-ending mistake. If this is the end, then it starts with me, a valet reborn as catastrophe. Holy bells ring like dying prayers. Dark ambience swallows the light. He stumbles into the lobby, eyes hollow, mind fading. People rush to help, they shouldn't have. His scream becomes a roar, his body convulses, bones shifting beneath the skin. He rises as something new, not a corpse, not a man, a hybrid born from engineered vapor. The first undead, the first carrier, the first disaster. And the infection spreads with every breath he exhales. I am the end. The spark of the earth, the curse that the earth could never defend. If the world must fall, then it falls through me. The first of the dead, the ending set free. Dark sins scream like angels torn in half. Holy choirs glitch into static. The world begins to rot. Hospitals overflow, cities choke, governments crumble. The infection mutates faster than science can breathe. The undead rise in waves, each one more twisted than the last. And at the center of it all, the valet who never meant to end the world. He wanders the ruins, half aware, half gone, fully responsible. A single inhale, a single mistake, and the world dies before it can wake. If extinction is written in vapor and seed, then I am the roots of the world's last bleed. Holy light flickers, darkness rises. The apocalypse rips the valley. The first inhaler wanders through the neon grave of the city, eyes glowing with a natural hunger. A single human crosses his path, a stranger walking home, unaware of the end. Standing before him, one breath, one exhale, one moment of contact. The stranger collapses, then rises, eyes hollow, He does not think, he only walks, and the world falls behind him. The age of the undead has begun. The sky is still, so still. Clouds hang like dead titans frozen mid-breath. The wind shifts, softer first, a whisper brushing across the skin. But something rides inside it, something ancient, something engineered, something hungry. The world doesn't know it yet, but the apocalypse has already begun. Man stands on a rooftop, smoke curling from his lips, watching the city pulse beneath him. The wind hits his face, cold, unnatural, alive. His lungs seize, his pulse stutters, his vision fractures into static. He drops his cigarette, it hits the ground like a warning. He whispers, why does the air taste wrong? But the wind is already inside him. It spreads through his bloodstream like a storm of broken gold. Veins dark and eyes hollow, thoughts dissolve into instinct. He becomes the first Let the storm roar, let the heavens break. The world is dying in the breath we can't escape. If hope still breaks, it hides in the cracks. For the wind has turned the living into the dead that attack. Holy light flickers, darkness rises. The wind rains. The wind sweeps across continents, unstoppable, eternal. Clouds churn like wounded gods. Thunder cracks like a dying choir. The air tastes metallic, wrong, unnatural, alive. Then the first drop falls. A single bead of rain that should have been water, but carries something ancient, engineered and hungry. The world never stood a chance. It hits a man's sinkhole, sharp sinking into his skin like a whispered curse. His veins ignite, his breath stutters, his eyes glaze with the hunger not his own. He collapses to his knees, clawing at the sky as if begging it to stop. But the clouds only open wider. The storm unleashes sheets of corrupted rain, hammer the earth, each drop a seed of the undead. People scream, people run, people fall. The rain doesn't just touch them, it rewrites them. Skin pales, pupils fracture, voices twist into hollow moans. The apocalypse begins, not with the virus, not with the bite, but with the sky itself turning traitor. I can hear the world drown in the storm's embrace. Every raindrop carving death across its face. If salvation ever lived, it's washed away tonight. For the sky has chosen darkness over light. Holy bells ring through the downpour, their purity swallowed by the rising dead. The infected rise, not slow, not mindless, but sharpened by the storm. They move with purpose, they hunt with instinct, they evolve with every passing minute. The rain fuels them, strengthens them, multiplies them. Cities drown in scream, streets flood with the footsteps of the risen. Humanity becomes a memory, washed away by the storm. We are not saved. The sky has turned against us. We are not saved. The rain has come to end us. If the dead must rise, then let them come. For the world is undone by what we can't outrun. Dark sins howl like angels torn from heaven. Holy ambience fractures into static. The storm becomes a living god of extinction. A handful of survivors hide beneath a shattered overpass, listening to the rain hiss against the concrete. Every drop outside is a death sentence. Every second inside is borrowed time. They first infected man wanders, a walking omen, a storm-born prophet, the one who began the